Hello, everyone. I am Lily Mae, the host of this amazing Glambitious Wellness Summit. And I'm really excited to share this fireside chat moment with you with the amazing and beautiful Wynter Patterson. Many of you recognize her from Ready to Love on the Oprah Network, but she's so much more than the personality you saw on television. So, Wynter, if you would just introduce yourself and just tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Certainly. I am Wynter Patterson. I am a published author. I am a business consultant, and I'm a talk show host, TV personality. And I'm also seen, as mentioned, I'm on the OWN network on Ready to Love. But that's just the beginning. I am a person who really believes in empowering women and sharing love and self-love. And that's why I'm here. So I'm super, super excited to be with you guys.
Thank you so much. So before we get into the interview, I always like to ask a semi-fun question. So if you could have dinner with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
It would be a tie with two, and these probably are like the two most popular, and I would say probably Oprah or Beyonce. Um, both of them. Like, I just want to know, like, what type of things, what are the daily activities that they're doing that we don't see, other than getting into the boardroom. Like, what type of morning rituals, what type of morning routines, what are they speaking over themselves? Like, I want to know all of that. Like, how do you keep going in the face of so much adversity, and continue to excel and be the very, very highest in your craft? That is absolutely amazing to me for both of them.
Absolutely. And those would probably be my two favorite too, aside from Denzel Washington. But
Right.
you know, so I know that you're a self-love advocate. So, can you tell us a little bit about, what inspired you to kind of embark on that area of women empowerment?
Absolutely. So it really, really became a journey of self-love for me after my divorce. While I went through, some of you who've watched the show, I talked about my marriage. I went through a very, very painful marriage that had infidelity and a lot of, emotional abuse and a lot of things that just were unhealthy. And when I came out, as much as I wanted to blame and point the finger at all the things he did, I had to take a really good look at myself and what would make me stay in an environment like that. What would make me ignore some of those red flags that I saw early on? And why was I so willing to love this person unconditionally and not love myself unconditionally? And so it began, I really began this journey of healing and loving myself and, telling myself, hey, I love you. I would walk out the mirror and say, I like me. Because I had been in a situation where I was not being uplifted, or, I was literally being torn down daily. And so I had always been teaching healing. My first two books were about healing, but I shifted and I really focused on how can I love myself, because as I love myself, I honor God, my creator.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is a common story among women, that we prioritize other people over ourselves. Why do you think that we tend to, struggle with self-esteem and always put ourselves on the back burner in relationships and family and so forth?
I think it's almost, we're taught to put others above ourselves. And that is this big, noble thing that we're taught from elementary school, right? But we're not taught enough to honor our own feelings, our own needs. Some of us are afraid to even feel what we feel because we feel like we have to be strong for everybody else, right? And, I want to teach, like, no, love yourself, feel what you feel. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not be at, on a 10 every day. It's okay when someone asks you how you doing, say, hey, not that great. Talk to me tomorrow, but we're taught to, pretend like, especially Black women, we have it together. Everything is good. I'm going to take care of everyone else, and I'm not going to take care of myself. And self-love says I have the mental capacity to do both, to take care of others and also take care of myself. And I love myself enough to do that.
Absolutely. And, for the single women, there's like a saying where people say, oh, you attract who you are, or you attract what you are. And I don't think I agree with that, because I'm like, I'm super fabulous and I'm a woman of God, and I have definitely attracted some rascals. So what is your thoughts on that? How can we attract better dating experiences, as single women?
I agree. I feel like there's some truth to that. I believe you attract what you expect or what you think. Okay. So I know women who are like, oh girl, we just got to settle for the bare minimum. Ain't nothing out here. Well, that's what you're going to get, the bare minimum. You're going to get a guy who got, 6 kids, and the bare minimum, so I think you attract what you think. If you believe there's no good men out there, you're going to probably continue to see that, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what you're going to see. So it's not who you are, it's what you think. And so I am always like, girl, it's a millionaire around the corner. It's a man who got his stuff together, that's going to be fully interested in me. There are faithful men out there. Those are the things I tell myself, and that's what I'm expecting. And I'll be honest, outside of the show, I've dated some really great guys. I didn't put a little caveat in there, like outside of the show. I've dated some really great guys, because I really do believe there are some great guys out there. Like if I showed you, on paper, some of the guys that the Lord has allowed me to meet and spend time with, they're great guys. They just weren't the one. The one, he's on the way.
I know that's right. And, I also tell women that we have to be careful of the conversations we have, because like you said, there's so much power in the tongue. And so when you get around a friend that may have a negative perspective about men and they're talking negatively, and then you engage in that, it's like you're also bringing that energy, into your space. So, I definitely agree with you as far as affirming that there are great men of God out there. And sometimes we just have to realize that, it may not even be that a person is bad, they're just not our person. And sometimes people are just in our life for a season or a lesson, and then we're supposed to move on. So I think perspective is everything, and having an empowering perspective on it is definitely going to attract you that millionaire man, girl.
Yes, indeed.
So thank you. Yeah, for ladies who, they haven't, really done the work yet to heal and to be confident and feel good, are there any actionable steps that you would give them to start on that journey to healing and self-love?
I think one of the biggest things that I teach is, affirming yourself. And we've already talked about it a couple times since we've started. I think that, when you affirm yourself, when you speak life-giving affirmations over yourself, you change your thinking, you change what you attract, you change what you're willing to accept. But it starts, and some people think it's so, small or rudimentary that they don't put the effort into it. But if you really do put that effort into speaking that into your life, speaking that over yourself every day, you literally start to change the way that you think. And so I think that's a good start. Like I start with the affirmation, I love who I am now. Okay. Because a lot of us, I love myself when, right? When I lose these 20 pounds, or when I, get a man, or when I get out of financial, ruin. But I love who I am now. Like start there, start loving who you are now, with the debt, with the 15, 20 extra pounds, with the overbite, whatever it is that you're dealing with, start with that affirmation. I love who I am now. God didn't make any mistakes. I'm here for a reason. So I think that's a great place to start. And then meditation. Meditation doesn't even require a belief system. It just requires you to be willing to get somewhere and get quiet and allow the universe, God, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, to minister to you and heal you in areas that maybe you're hurting and don't even know. So I think those are two really good places to start.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And, unfortunately, it seems like some of our challenges with self-esteem start at a young age, with just childhood experiences in school or with friends. So if you could go back and tell teenage Wynter anything, if you could go back and tell teenage Wynter one thing, what would you go back and tell her?
I would just tell her, like, girl, you are awesome. I would just speak life into her, because, I had a pretty good high school experience, popular, all of those great things. But I can also remember being influenced by small comments, being influenced by a guy that didn't like me that I liked. you know, or, you know, my girlfriends didn't invite me somewhere. I remember things like that would have an impact on me. And so if I could go back, I would just let Wynter know, like, girl, you are amazing. You are awesome. You are beautiful. They didn't invite you because they want to be like you. They're jealous of you, girl. Like, and you know, just life giving affirmations to her, because she, you know, I feel like I was a confident person, but those voices do take a toll on you.
Absolutely. So what is next for you in 2021? Like, what are you looking forward to most?
You know what? I am so appreciative of the opportunity that the OWN Network has given me to touch a much larger audience. Even your audience, like the fact that I have the ability to share empowerment, inner healing, self-love practices with much more people on a broader scale. For me, I'm so grateful to God for it. And I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted the women who are saying, wow, I needed to hear that. Or the people who come to me and say, hey, you know, this happened in my life and I thought about you and what you said. So for me, 2021 looks like more empowerment opportunities, more opportunities to speak life and to share my story, because I'm an open book. Like I'll tell you anything if it's going to bring God glory and help you to be a better you. Um, so I'm looking forward to more of that, more conferences like this, and just, you know, being everything that God called me to be.
I love it. And what I could appreciate about you most is that you had a very classy and respectful, you know, presence on the show. And it's a unique show in that, you know, it could definitely draw you into a different direction, but you really kept your poise and you really, you know, even though it was a unique situation, you were really able to be like a positive energy and a very above board energy, a very classy energy. So I could definitely appreciate that. And I could tell that, you know, not only did you love yourself, but you did have a love for some of the other women that were castmates and that you did have a bond with them, you know, outside of it being a dating show. So I could just appreciate, you know, you being such a great example on television. I was on a show as well, Love is Blind on Netflix. And so I know reality TV is very scary. So is there anything that, you know, if someone was about to embark on a dating show, any advice you would give them before getting on reality TV?
I would say, like, make sure you have thick skin. You know, I feel like for me, and I thank you so much for that compliment. That means so much to me. For me, I probably get like 95, 98% very positive feedback. You know, because maybe maybe it's the energy that I put out, you know, God is giving it back. But you still got 2 to 5% of people who just will not like you and will say anything and will misinterpret your words. And you have to get, you know, your skin has to be thick enough to let it roll off your back, because you can't change everybody's mind. Not everybody is gonna like you. So I would just say, you know, make sure that you have thick skin and make sure that, you know, if you do reality TV, it's gonna be a great experience, but you don't have the opportunity to control your own narrative. So be aware of that as well, and just be you. And the world will see it.
That is fantastic advice. My dad told me not to do it. He's like, don't do it. You won't have any control. I'm like, Dad, you know, I'm okay. I'm not crazy, so I don't think I'm gonna look crazy. He's like, don't do it. But yeah, it was, you know, like you said, you know, I think every experience that, you know, God allows us to have it's an intentional experience. It's going to teach us something. It's going to allow us certain connections. And so, you know, that's how I look at any experience, including the single experience, because that has been a very interesting journey for me as well. So, you know, I guess in closing, if you had, you know, any just final words that you wanted to share with the ladies that are tuned in to the summit, or you also, of course, want to share how they can connect with you and all of those things, what would be kind of your final words of encouragement?
You know, I would like every woman to know that your past mistake, whatever you've been through, no matter how hard your childhood was, no matter how hard that marriage was, that relationship was, that family situation was, I want you to know that that does not change your value. It doesn't change God's plan for you. It doesn't change your ability to exceed beyond your wildest dreams. What we have to do is take the opportunity to stop, reset, heal, love on ourselves, and continue on with the dreams that set your heart on fire. So I pray and hope that you allow nothing to discourage you and you just soar in the next 10, 15 years, as long as you're here, that every day you get up and decide to love yourself and you go for every dream that God places in your heart.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Wynter, for taking the time to be a part of this. I'm really excited because this is my first. Usually, my events are about entrepreneurship, so this is kind of my first self-love, self-care event, and I'm excited to have women like you just share those, words of wisdom. How can ladies contact you or connect with you on social media or websites or anything like that?
I'm really easy to find. I'm always at Wynter Patterson. That's Wynter with a Y. So Wynter Patterson on Instagram, Facebook, Wynter Patterson, Twitter, Wynter Patterson, and then my website is winterpatterson.net. I'm doing a few things in different cities as we slowly open up. I'm having a vision board party in Houston very soon. Atlanta, I'll be back around mid-February. So just follow me on Instagram and you'll see where I am. And hopefully I'll get a chance to connect and see you face to face, because that really blesses me more than you would ever know.
Absolutely. Well, again, we thank you so much. And likewise, all of the blessings that you wish upon the audience, we wish those same blessings upon you and that you continue to soar in your career. Thank you, Wynter.
Thank you. And listen, now I got to go watch Love is Blind and see what happened.
Not much happened.
You know what? You don't want to give a spoiler?
I was on there for about a good hot 7 minutes. But definitely check it out. Not much happened, but you'll enjoy the 7 minutes.
You know what? I started that show and I didn't finish it, but I'm gonna watch it now.
Yeah. Look, I'm on the first episode, so you get a good strong 7 minutes of Lily Mae time, and then ease on out.
Well, it was still a great experience nonetheless, I'm sure.
It was. I'm going to end the